Morning. Grand rising, kindred spirits. And for those who are new, I welcome you too. I want to get into a discussion in regards to relationships today. Okay? Because there's so much talk. I don't want to say just relationships. Let me not say relationships, but in gender roles. And we're going to discuss it from a heterosexual point of view. The reason why I don't want to get into the other communities is because I'm not a part of that community. And no offense to the other communities, but even though I have been in that community before, I've associated with people in that community and delved and learned about it, but I prefer heterosexual. So let's get into it, shall we? So before we begin, go ahead and like this video, okay? And also, I welcome you to share the contents of this video on your social media platforms. Another thing I would love for you to do is leave a comment below to let me know what you think about this topic and give me some of your feedback and opinions about this topic. I welcome it, your feedback and opinions, so that way we can get that discussion going and then create another topic of discussion based on comments and questions you leave below. If there is something specific you would like to share with me, my contact information will be found below in the description box. And I'm going to do my best to remember to leave my contact information at the end of this video. Okay? All right, let's go. Okay, so there has been so much talk these days about what men are capable of, what their responsibilities are here in this realm, and what women's responsibilities are and what her role is because she's a female in this realm. So let's talk about the physical while we're here in the physical, okay? Let me give you some feedback in regards to that. Based on experience and research, okay? So we are getting so caught up in what was in the past. Now, let's try to understand something, that what was in the past was a part of evolution and part of learning and evolving. But it does not necessarily mean that that is so. Yeah, we do as women understand that if we have multiple partners, it may be hard for us to distinguish who our children's father is. But let's also not get it twisted that we, male and female, are born with energies, masculine and feminine. And based on those energies, some of us exert more than the other. Yeah, as far as females, one of our roles is, let me just say, I'm saying one of our roles is to give birth. Another one of our role is to produce milk after we give birth, which is going to happen automatically. Another one of our roles physically is to have monthly cycles, which is a natural thing. Okay? Now, again, I am speaking on it from a heterosexual point of view because all this other stuff that y'all are coming up with based on what you want to be physically and what you have to go through surgically to get to that physically, I'm not going to discuss that. You know, what your mind say, what your body want to be, doesn't necessarily mean that's what your body is. So to not have all kinds of drama on my platform, any other community that thinks that thinks in a different community box other than the heterosexual community, I don't want to get into, because that's not my mode of thinking. Maybe I can think like that, but I love who I am. Okay, so I do want to address certain things based on my research. So, based on the sacred wisdom of Tahuti, according to the research that Dr. York had given us, is similar to the same information. I think Tahuti is considered the same as Hermetic. Of course, you know how people change stuff around, but when I looked at the information, when I read the sacred wisdom of Tahuti and looked at the Hermetic principles, the information is very similar. The information is very similar, and this information comes from ancient times, and it still applies today. And because what was in the beginning shall be in the end. So if it was in the ancient beginning, the beginning of times, and things kind of went whack in how we started to live based on other a race of people coming into certain lands, taking over and pushing their laws and rules upon us, kind of changed things up. So we're thinking with the minds of those people who had neuromelanin people in captivity. So let's kind of back up a little bit, because I don't want to make it about a race thing. I don't, but there are a difference in how different races conduct themselves within their own culture. Okay? And I want to make sure we don't get it twisted and think just because you're from Somalia, Italy, Dominican Republic, Canada, you think those are considered races because you're a Canadian, Dominican Republican, Italian, or Somalian. Those aren't races. Those are nationalities. Okay? That's a nation of people. But when we're all put together under one race, anyone outside of those neuromelanin people, or people, they label us as Black, they're going to see all of us as Black, even though we are all there together, until we open our mouth with a different accent. Then they'll be like, well, what nationality are you? People get that so mixed up because we have been taught to think that even though as a race we look the same, we're being taught that our nationality is our race now. But I'm not here to talk about that. Okay? I just want to make it clear that there is a difference in culture. Now, like I said, certain other race have forced their culture and their ways of thinking upon us and instituted it into the laws here in this land called America, okay? Hunt came over here and forced their laws upon us. And the reason why it's so hard for us as a people to get back to the teachings of our ancestors here on this land is because a lot of our ancestors who gave birth to their children, the parents were killed off, so those parents could not teach their children their original culture. So it's like mentally we're in the wilderness right now. Based on nature, things happening in nature is reawakening certain DNA within us to reawaken to a lot of this knowledge, ancient knowledge that's being awakened within us, as well as causing us to evolve, not only mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So there are some changes that's going on within us. So I'm not going to take a long time in this video because I was going to get into the details of relationships and how we relate in relationships. Of course, over a period of time, of course, there have been other relationship type communities that has developed along the way, things that have been seen in the past, but now is out in the open based on government giving certain communities opportunity to participate. And I am one to say, I don't think any other human being should take it upon themselves and say how another person should live within a relationship and do harm to another person based on their likes and dislikes of another person. But like I said, I'm not going to go there. But what I do want to share with you today, I do, and I'm going to kind of like break it down in hopes that you truly understand that the roles that we have is based on the energy that we project, and not just because physically we were born a certain way, because in certain situations and certain genetics of people, because, you know, there are women based on past experiences and culture amongst certain women. There were women who were called Amazon women, women who exercise more masculinity within their energies, women who had to act as warriors, soldiers. And because I wasn't back there during those times, I can't go into the details of how they live. Just based on information that they left for us to basically just read, to have information that was left behind for us to remember and to be able to access that information and have an understanding and understanding of what took place back then. And so today, you still genetically have women like that. You have women who can do as much as a man. Physically do things, fix cars, lift weights, and a lot of men or some women may tend to differ. So I want to take it to another level based on ancient information that was in the beginning before, before the integration of so many cultures here in this land or on the globe, because you have integration of other cultures elsewhere as well. When I say integration of other cultures, you have different types of cultural backgrounds living in one land, in different places. So when we speak on certain situations, whether we be a male or a woman, we have to keep in mind these things. And also keep in mind that we are spiritual beings having human experiences. And we are mentally and spiritually being ruled or controlled based on our astronomical, and notice I didn't say astrological, astronomical energies that we were born up under. Before we came here, we chose an alignment to enter in to this dimension through the womb of a woman. And a lot of people always want to say, that child didn't choose to be here. Everyone chose to be here, whether you believe it or not. And if you don't believe it, give it some time. Expand your mind. Because what was traditional is not modern anymore. A lot of the traditions that we've learned is becoming outdated. And I'm saying that for a reason, because you know my face is trying to send you telepathic messages, letting you know that if you look back, when you look back in your grandparents, great-grandparents' time, what was then is not now. And even though you may favor people from back then, your great-grandparents and great-great-greats and all of that, the mindset has changed. The way of the world has changed. As time goes on, it will change. Since I was a child, it has changed drastically. And not all of it for the better. Some of it, or part of it, most of it, depending on who you are. So let's get into this, okay? So I want to get into the Hermetic principles, or the Hermetic principles of the doctrine of correspondence. And I know you're wondering, well, what is that? Well, hold your horses. I will explain. Okay, so let's go to the beginning. The universe is governed by law, that which we call the truth, for that which does not change. For that which does not change. No one can break the law, for we are the law. The universe is the law, and God is the law, or the Most High is the law. Okay? If there is no law, the universe will be in chaos, and nature keeps telling us that the universe is always in order. That's why you keep seeing the alternation of days and nights, of summers and winters. Cats eat mouses, dogs chase cats, etc. Those natural indications are what scholars refer to as signs of God, because God is in everything and everything is God, yet God is only one. And I'm using the word God for lack of better words because that's what's here. You know, I would like to say the forces, the signs of forces of nature, or the signs of the Most High, or the source, the signs of source. Okay, so you put in the place of God, if you don't agree with the word God, you can place right there the forces of nature, the Most High, or the source. Okay, because for lack of better word, we know mankind uses the word God. But if we were speaking in our original tongue, and let me just say, before we even use language, there was telepathy. But that's another subject. We're not going to go too deep here. So, as it says here, there are 7 universal laws that govern the universe. If you come from the occult background, you may refer it to the 7 Hermetic principles or the 7 sacred wisdom of Tahuti. Okay? So, their teachings, as noted in the Kabbalion by the 3 initiates, their teachings come from the ancient Egyptian knowledge, whose founder is Hermes. And they're using Hermes, Megistus, which is none other than Tahuti. These names are dependent on what culture you are in. So they use Hermes, which is from Greek, but if it's coming from ancient Egypt and the original name of Egypt before other cultures stepped in and changed names of persons, places, and things, Egypt was known as Kemet. And then, of course, if you go back and do more research, you come to find other names that was given of different lands. So just to keep in mind, for those who know, knows well. For those who don't know, speak names up or make names up from this place called hell. So concealing what is called the esoteric wisdom and secret doctrines, okay, or sacred, because anything that's sacred is secret, that are only revealed to the adepts and masters. So now let's go into, and the reason why I want to get into the doctrine or the principle of correspondence is because we want to see how things correspond amongst each other, amongst each energy, okay? And I really want you to fully understand. And I'll break it down. And then you can also perceive what your soul is telling you based on this information being given to you. Your soul might tell you something different. But at the end of the day, we're going to be able to agree to disagree and then to agree. And when I say to agree, we're going to be able to agree to disagree to live in harmony. So the law of correspondence is based on the saying of the law, as above, so below as above. So as I have stated in the Hermetic principle of, I don't want to get into the mentalism because that's another level of it, but this world is composed of 3 planes of existence in the 3-dimensional. We're talking in 3 dimensions. So if you don't know what we're talking about, we're talking on 3 dimensions: physical, mental, and spiritual. Of course, there is emotional. Okay. We're going to include emotional here. So let's say 4 planes. Because the emotional plane tunes into our intuitive, which connects to our spiritual and mental, which has an effect on our physical. So the law of correspondence can be summarized as the law of as above, so below, as within, so without. In other words, what happens on the physical plane will affect the mental and spiritual planes and vice versa. Whatever affects the spiritual plane will affect the mental plane and the physical plane. Every action begins with the act of thinking. While thinking begins with a thought receiving from the spirit, the universal mind. Your actions have the power to influence your mind, and so do your mental activities have the power to change your behaviors and deeds. This is the key to understand the relationship between the body, mind, and spirit. That is, the good and bad results of your actions depend on what you think and the purity of your soul. Everything corresponds to each other. Nothing stands independently except the one. Therefore, whenever you feel not satisfied with your life, you should contemplate your past deeds and previous thoughts instead of complaining about life. Okay, I gotta pause it here, okay? So I can break it down and let it be broke and then put it back together. So these are things, if you go back and watch some videos, if this is your first time watching, I'm so sorry. I did forget, you know, I did say if you knew, you're welcome to, but so if you go back and watch some of my videos or past videos, you will grasp the knowledge or information and where I was trying to explain to you that based on the reflection of things that you have done wrong in your past, just know that you have the ability to change it. You're not obligated to no one, and no one is obligated to you. If you feel your life isn't going a certain way, all it takes is reflecting on things you dislike, contemplating and strategizing how to make a change within. As above, so below, as within, so without. So in order to start making those changes, you go above into the mind, contemplate it here. You go within to feel it through, to feel it out, to strategize and get a feel to be ready to make that change on the outside, to be reflected outside of yourself. Simple as that. But it's called, you have to be ready. When you are fully ready, if you're getting tired, when you get tired of things that you don't like happening to you, you can make that change within to be reflected outside of you. That's all it takes, great people. Is going within, thinking it through and feeling it through to be reflected outside of you and putting it into action. Don't think you can sit back just because you feel it inside. Yeah, it starts with the emotion, feeling it. Yes, feel it and see it in your mind's eye being projected outside of you. And when there's moments or opportunities to make the change and put it into action, make sure what you contemplated here and within, you bring it outside of yourself. So that lets you know if even as a woman, as a man, we're both capable of certain things. Not all women, because not all women is willing to do certain things men do. Doesn't mean that they're not capable of it. But many of single moms have survived without their man. Whether the man has walked away, it was death, incarceration, or whatever the case may be. It's called survival tactics. And sometimes when you get in the mode of survival habits, it becomes a part of their routine to do manly type things. And I don't want to place no blame on men for why men aren't there, because it takes two in a relationship. Because sisters, for you women who feel like you can do it all alone without your man after having a child, and you push him away and you're doing things because you're being toxic, then you need to check yourself. And Overstand and understand that what you and your man goes through, whatever y'all are arguing about, is between you and that man. The child should not suffer based on who you disagree with, who your man is with at that time, because he done moved on. And vice versa for the men. You should make sure you play an important role in your child's life, whether that woman has moved on or not, or because she decides she doesn't want to be with you. You should not let your child suffer. How I know? Because I am a a product of bad relationships and my father being kept from me and not being allowed to see me, or me not being allowed to see my father. It has had a toll on relationship issues. Doesn't mean just because of those relationships issues, I can't get past those things and heal from those things. But it takes a lot of time to get through such situations such as that, mentally and emotionally. It takes some understanding or some overstanding between the two once we come to realize what has taken place in our childhood, and to be able to hear from our childhood, and we go into a relationship and you sit down and have a communication, say, okay, if you haven't had your mother in your life or a good mother in your life for the man, and I haven't had a male representation, then we have to communicate and work with each other to build and heal within those relationships. Okay, so now I want to get off into polarity, and I want to help you understand even when it comes to polarity, but I wanted to get into correspondence so you can understand that no matter what takes place in your life, through reflecting on your past and learning the knowledge, having an open mind to expand your mind to take in what has taken place in your past, and then taking that same energy and being open emotionally to changing your perspective and feeling it and being ready to change it, so whatever takes place within can correspond outside of you. Put it into action after healing. See, there is a process. It's a strategic manner of going about the healing process. And even if there's not a healing process and you've had, good examples in your life, still, when a child comes in, a child grows up, takes some DNA or genetic ways from both parents, still, it's going to evolve the child differently. The child isn't going to want to do everything exactly like the parents. Now, if there are some rough edges within the parents, and it kind of shows within that child is the manifestation to bring forth change in their line, their inherited line, to make some change from the traditions. It's just a part of evolution in order to evolve. But there is a such thing as not wanting to change. And I've talked about this also in past videos. When you refuse change, you're kind of doing some detriment to yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and eventually physically. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so now I want to get into what is the Hermetic principle of polarity? So The Hermetic or the law of polarity states that everything is dual, meaning two. Everything, there is two within everything. And when I always speak about our energies, we have energies of feminine and masculine, positive, negative, you know, because femininity, the feminine energy is represented by the negative polarity. It doesn't mean that the woman is negative, it's just an energy, because negative energy is also needed in our survival, just as well as masculine, which is polarized by the positive energy. Does it mean that the masculine energy is considered all good? Okay, so everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half truth. All paradoxes may be reconciled. So I want to just say, if you can see this pen here, on one end is positive, because where I'm sitting, the way I'm sitting, this is my right side, and then negative. And they all meet at a pole, at a center, okay? Even if the pole was this way, you have positive and negative, okay? For those who need more explanation, and when it talks about everything has a pole. So you, as the pole, as that human physical body makeup, your right side of your brain is projected as the feminine the masculine positive energy, and the left brain is considered or polarizing as the feminine negative energy. So we're living in a world of duality, light and darkness, good and evil, rich and poor, hot and cold, yin and yang, etc. That is the law of polarity, or the universal law of polarity, means that we cannot know one thing without knowing the opposite side of that thing. It's like we cannot know what is good without knowing what is evil. That is, positivity and negativity are just two sides of a coin, or 2 points in the same line. They are not separate from each other. What it means is that the moment you feel happy, be sure another moment you will be sad. Happiness and sorrow are basically made of the same substance, but differ in degrees and vibration. So the law of polarity works harmoniously with the law of rhythm, because everything has rhythm in between the dual nature of life. The principle works like the swing of a pendulum between the extreme of two opposite points. It's like you cannot be lucky or unfortunate all the time, as the universe doesn't work that way. There is time to win as well as there is time to lose. Similarly, there is time to move forward and there is time for contemplation. As simple as this, duality is like 2 points in the same line, and the law of rhythm will switch you from one side of polarity to another side if you are not at equilibrium. Okay? All right, so let's break that down. Okay, so hopefully it was pretty much explained to you just based on what I just read to you, or what you just read. If you paused and read it yourself, you know, you will come to understand that the energies, it differs on, as it stated, as the depending on the law of rhythm and how it's that law swings from side to side, or the times or the changes, you know, people caught up in time, or just based on situations, you know, sometimes you have to use your negative side in order to decipher whatever negative energy is coming towards you. Is based on, as it said, in order for you to know evil, you have had to understand the positive to know something evil or something bad is near. And as it also stated, you are not going to be able to win all the time. And the times that you're not winning is your time for learning and prepping and understanding your losses in order to the next situation or moment in change or in rhythm, in order to expedite that gain. You have to have your losses. You have to experience pain to be able to know how to grow from it and evolve from it, to learn the lessons behind the losses and the pain. To get to a point in your life where you are able to balance the duality. And when you come to a balance within the duality, you have found your harmony, your peace of mind. Because now you're able to control from within what takes place without. In order to get to that, you have to sometimes experience the imbalances in order to bring them back into balance. Okay? All right, moving up right along. And if you have any questions or comments or some inputs about this, I want to hear it. And so there are others here that would like to hear your input as well. Okay, moving right along. Now, this is what I really want to get into, because as evolving spiritually and being awakened, you're awakening to realizing your role in life. Because as I've stated before, what's right for you may not be right for the next person. How you perceive may not be how the next person perceives. What your likes and dislikes may not be the same. So don't get it twisted in this video. I'm not saying that all of these things that I have explained, correspondence, the rhythms of change, the back and forward movement of change that we go through, and the doctrine or the law of polarity is not going to be the same for everyone at the same time. Even with the law of gender, and we're having so much disagreement, I'm just breaking this down just so that we can have an open mind to dispel arguments. Of course, there's still going to be some arguments, but remember, I always say, I'm not here to make you think like me. I'm just only here to help you think on your own, to take control of your life and how you want it to be. In doing so, you don't have to worry about arguing, because you accept you for who you are. And there's no need to argue with another person about you. People are out here arguing about what roles and stuff you as a woman or you as a man should choose or should do, telling you how to live your life. You know, if many are called and few are chosen, many are called to know, but only a few are chosen to sit back and just be respectful and happy within themselves where they are and how they're evolving. There's no need to argue about what you feel comfortable with and at harmony and peace with within yourself. Only the fools will continue to argue about their own life and putting their life out there based on what they're trying to make other people think like them. Again, remember, it's not meant for us to have the same thoughts. It is a point when once we come to perceive and understand that everyone is different, but we can all agree to disagree, long as we come to, just like everybody have different skills, different talents, and then we can all make those gifts and talents work together as one community and put into that community. We have something in common, which is our difference, to build and make a community work. Someone may be good at gardening. There may be a group of you who can garden, but amongst the gardeners, y'all have y'all specialty. Some are sunflowers and roses, and some are vegetables and fruits. Okay? And even builders. Some people build domes, where others build squares and rectangles and triangles. You know, so we all have something to bring to the table. Even if we can't have hands-on, some of us may just have mental on, be able to mentalize and strategize that, and be able to direct the others in how to organize it in a way where it works in harmony. So, what is the Hermetic principle of gender? It says, or let's say the law of gender, demonstrates that everything in nature contains within itself feminine and masculine nature. You hear that? Demonstrates that the law of gender demonstrates that everything in nature contains within itself feminine and masculine nature. For example, every male has a female element inside himself, as well as every female has a male element inside herself. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes of existence. The gender law is the law of yin and yang. Inside yin, we have yang. Within yang, we have yin. It is the endless flow of life that permeates all living things on earth. This principle manifests on the physical plane as sexes. However, the law also functions on higher planes of mental and spiritual worlds. That's why gold and silver, tin and lead, sun and moon also have gender. If you take a look at the atom itself, it is made of proton, positive, and electron, negative, which are the masculine and feminine in nature that create the whole universe, as atom is the basis upon which everything is built. Everything in this world is the embodiment of the law of gender. Okay, so how does the law or principle of gender work? In basic understanding, understanding and overstanding, you know, we're saying understanding right now because sometimes, you know, there's some of y'all standing under the table and need to be pulled from under that dang table to get, to get, you know what I'm talking about? But anyway, if you don't know, you're about to know. Okay, so in basic overstanding, understanding, the law of gender works by giving sexes to things, such as gold is masculine and silver is feminine. For example, the yin is passive, intuitive, and soft, while the yang is active, logical, and hard. This is the reason why we usually see women associated with qualities such as nurturing, mothering, and emotional, whereas we relate men to characteristics such as bold, fathering, and intellectual. However, within yang, we have yin and vice versa. Therefore, a man can sometimes be receptive and subtle as well. When we see the overbalance of one element over another, it expresses itself in the physical world as the confusion, unbalance, and inharmony of sexes. That is, gay means that a person who is born into a male body but contains much more feminine qualities within himself. Mind you, the word gay means happy. Okay? Yin and yang circle is also a symbol of the law of polarity, the law of vibration, and the law of rhythm. It is always moving, swinging back and forth between two polarities of existence. If you look closely at the image of yin and yang, it always resembles a circle of eternity. Continuity and perpetuity, meaning that it will never end unless we are raised to the absolute oneness of consciousness. The law of attraction or the law of gravity is another expression of the law of gender. The feminine aspect always attracts the masculine aspect of nature. In physics, it is the underlying principle that makes the magnet work, whose poles are north and south. The opposites are going to attract. So let me get back with you. Let me stop share, and we're going to delve into this. So hopefully you truly understand it's really man. And when I say man, or let me just say, it's really humans or physical beings. Let me put it that way. It's humans and physical beings, or, us in physical nature, and based on what has been taken away from us, our knowledge of knowing who we are, we have fallen so far below recognition of our God and goddess states that we have forgotten these laws. So in our lowest state, we argue amongst each other roles based on our gender. When the law of the universe said, and overstanding correspondence, the timing of things, the situation, the rhythm, the flow, the tides, the up tide, the low tides, that's the law of rhythm. And there are other laws tied into it. And actually my next video, we can get into the law of rhythm. Hold on, what is it? The law of vibration, and then the law of rhythm, and then the law of attraction. We can get more into that in another video after this. We can take it deep, we can take it deep, okay? And I want to also say this too, because astrology or astronomy plays, astronomy is just the study of the stars. And what connects astrology to it, and a lot of us think something evil of overstanding the reading of the stars. Astrology, it may be interpreted in different countries, but just know in your religious text, it speaks on how certain wise men turn to the skies to seek guidance. And that's basically all this is. Turning to the skies, seeking guidance, overstanding that as spiritual beings, being born into these physical avatars, once we're born into these physical avatars, our times of birth is in alignment with the skies or the heavens to help direct our guidance. Everything is organized, as it stated. The universe has a certain rhythm and organization in how things operate. If not, it would be in total chaos. So everyone born onto this planet has a mission and purpose based on your star alignment, your heavenly alignment. Whether you stray to the negative or to the positive, or you learn to bring both into balancement and peace, and teach that with the leadership in peace, in helping to establish peace in heaven on earth. So why, again, Anita, did we go through all of this? Is to help you understand how you operate, the many zodiac signs or whatever signs you go by, whether it's Western or Eastern, because Eastern culture pretty much overstand the masculine and feminine operations of things. And if not, you don't, let me help you understand and overstand it. Okay? Because it does not matter what suit you have on. According to different astrological signs, earth, wind, earth, air, water, and fire are also labeled masculine and feminine. Me personally being a fire sign, and in my chart, which is mostly fire, and I have some specks of other elements within it, but my sign, fire sign, operates on the masculine. So yeah, you may see some masculine traits exhibit. Doesn't mean that I'm going to fully be masculine and operate in full masculinity. There's going to be some things I'm going to have to come in contact with and nurture it and be soft with it. Same difference with a male who may operate in a feminine energy. A lot of masculine or men may operate in its femininity, especially when it comes to the arts, and have to sometimes put themselves in nurturing situation when it comes to animals and children. So we should come to an understanding and overstanding in harmony of being able to agree to disagree, to be able to live in harmony, and overstanding that the roles may switch up depending on the rhythm and vibration of your pole, which is your physical being and alignment and makeup that you're aligned to the heavens with. And should I say that again? Okay, so in our next video, we're gonna, we're going to delve more into the law of rhythm and vibration. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about this. Tell an enemy to tell an enemy to tell a friend, tell an enemy to tell a friend, to tell their boss and children and family about this, okay? So my purpose in all of this is just to bring about harmony. I'm not saying you have to be all in agreement, but we can agree to disagree. That we can be me, and me can be you, and you can be you, and me, or whoever. We don't have to like what you like and dislike what you don't like. We can enjoy being ourselves and not obligated to kiss somebody's boot boot. I don't have to kiss your boot boot. But I want to say is, when there's two parties involved in an argument, the third party does not have to suffer based on the two parties. And the third party doesn't always have to jump in based on the two parties, unless the two parties ask for a neutral input. Again, I'm not here to make you think like me. I'm just here to assist you with thinking for yourself, just to give you some creative ideas, some insights that will help you get to your own solution and healing from within. All right, until next time, stay vibrating high and evolving in your frequency. I'm out. Great people.
Hi, my name is AnitaYarbrough, and I am your holistic healing life coach and counselor. I bring to you today my signature programs based on healing transformations that align purpose. My first signature program, self-authentication based healing. This paradigm shifting and transformative based program is designed to share life experiences due to the changing times we're in to assert your self authenticating willpower. In this program, you will learn the importance of healing to help lead the way towards understanding a new age mindset that promotes creative, holistic living for unlocking your purpose. Transform and align with your purpose in any area you choose. Within these changing times, by trying a new approach to tasks and or activities to gain courage and confidence. Feel free to accept the changes in the world and experience the new, real you without judgment from yourself and others. Learn to accept uncontrollable circumstances. Let go of the past and activate a new you. Overcome blockages on your way towards your newfound freedom after attending this life-changing presentation. After this program, you will be able to learn the difference between using logic and intuition, understand how your belief systems influence your authenticity. Learn the importance of balancing your light and dark psyche. Use mental and emotional coping techniques to transcend traumas and pain to start the healing process. Gaining self-acceptance to heal through self-talk and expression. My second signature program is lifestyle-based healing. This life-building and knowledge-based program is designed to help you succeed in the next phase of transformational growth during these changing times to enhance your development. In this session, you will learn how to tap into your natural survival resources and following the intuitive influences that open your eyes to new pathways of living, achieve greater results, and supercharge your mission by creating a new lifestyle. You will come to understand how to discipline your body, your mind, and spirit to prepare the unexpected and expected changes in your life, inside and out. Inspire others to do the same. Become efficient and improve functionality after this enlightening presentation. After this program, you will be able to learn what your limits are towards change, learn how to replace unwanted habits with better practices, identify your stress triggers and traumas, to make changes and self-heal. Learn about inner and outside influences that affect your lifestyle. Understand how good health practices establishes great wealth to enhance a certain lifestyle. Learn the importance of your survival and creating your new life and what it takes to sustain a new lifestyle. Expose your toxicities before incorporating new lifestyle changes. Now, this third signature program is my communication-based healing. This mind-enriching session will teach you how to express and communicate your thoughts and feelings. Demonstrate many ways to communicate your subconscious mind to gain control of your life. The strategies in this portion of the program will fine-tune your communication skills within these changing times by using your childlike imagination to promote healing and find your confidence to better express yourself. Learn how to analyze the communication style of others, which better helps with understanding how to communicate. So after this presentation, you will be able to achieve a life of mastery that is limitless. So after this program, you will be able to learn to listen to your true voice, to break your own hypnotic spell, learn importance of self-talk, creatively express your imagination, to welcome in the healing process, learn and understand different communication styles, find out how to communicate commands to your subconscious mind to create change. Now, this last signature program is community-based healing. This approach into the community dynamics during these times of change will alter your reality to identify patterns in situations and know when to seek solutions. Learn the positives and negatives of comparisons and judgments that are used within your environment or community. Learn tactics to break away from the trends within your environment and community that are presently not realized as mind control tools. Learn manifestations for your ideal environment or community, which can influence and become impressionable to others. Before this presentation ends, it will empower your every move. So after this program, you will be able to understand how to manifest your needs and wants, recognizing patterns that will create solutions for a better change, learn how to recognize individuals of bad or good influence in your space, understand how making peace with yourself can become a masterpiece for an ideal community, create better habits and practices that will help you attain the peace you so desire, and design and create a space that cannot be compared to others. I would like to thank you for taking time out in your busy day and joining me or sitting with me in learning more about my signature programs. As I always tell others, I am not here to make you think like me. I just want you to think. Again, thank you and have a great rest of your day.